GM everybody, and welcome to the show. We are live with another session, hacking on Samui Wallet for Solana Cypherpunk Hackathon by Colosseum. Now, let me check if everything is good and everything works. And it looks like it does. Yep, and there I hear myself on YouTube. So perfect, gonna mute that. GM Amibola, good to see you here. Definitely gonna be building. Please let me know if everything's loud and clear. Please let me know how you're doing. I'm doing great. I'm still in the co-working. It's 2 a.m. I'm all by myself. I have been locked in for a few hours. I've been cleaning up the work that I did today, that I did yesterday. Been cleaning up some pull requests. And what we did yesterday was making sure these generate new accounts work and that you can select these accounts and make them active. So if you have 2 accounts and we generate 2 of them, now we can actually make them active. Hey, something didn't really work there. Let me check with a clean database. Delete it right here. So refresh, just to make sure that we're starting off right here. So this one shouldn't have a checkbox, correct? Now, if I generate the second one, that will have a checkbox and we can actually switch. Amazing. That's exactly what we want to do. Now, what I'm going to do today is I made some notes here. I'm going to add a drop-down to select active account. So think this one, but for the accounts. So that way you don't need to go into the settings and into this to change it. You should be able to just change it right away. And this is very much in line with how Backpack does this. So for reference, what Backpack does here is here you can change accounts, here you can change wallet, and here you can change clusters or networks, as how they call it. So we'll have a very similar flow here. Let's start with this account dropdown. And for reference, we're going to use the cluster dropdown. So that's going to be this one. And I'm just going to blatantly copy and paste. So this is going to be account dropdown. And then everywhere where it says cluster, I'll be renaming it to account. Now, those of you that have been watching me hack away on this, they know this is kind of how that works with me. So yeah, let's see, where did we use the cluster UI dropdown? That's here inside the settings feature cluster UI dropdown. So this is actually a UI component. This is like a dump component. It doesn't do anything besides like rendering the thing, triggering the action. It receives the list of items, it receives the active cluster, and it gives you an option to bubble up this, this action. And we actually use this in a feature. Now, features are allowed to interact with the database and do routing and all of that good stuff. I guess UI components are also allowed to do routing, but they're allowed to interact with the database, and we can use them inside other features. So we're basically wrapping our cluster drop down here. In this case, we're going to create a account drop down and account right here to import this from. So now that we have all of this stuff set up, now we're going to say like, hey, where's this feature being used? And we're going to just pop this thing right next to it. So with that, we should have an account, and then we can do the exact same change right here, but then regardless from which page we're on. So far so good. This goes very smooth until now. Now, one of the things that you might have seen with Backpack is that they have this cute little icon, which we also have, like this avatar, and I really like this. It's like a visual indicator. So let's start by doing that right here. So this is basically where we want to do this avatar. So if we do account item, account list item, we can actually see that we have a settings UI account item. So this is what I want to use inside the dropdown. Hey, Backpack, thanks for waking up. This is what I want to use inside the dropdown. So I'll do it like this, get rid of the name, and then that should already look way more similar. Now, this is clearly the beauty of composing all of this, right? For account settings, let's actually add the icon back here. So that's not a Lucid network, but that is a Lucid Wallet 2. And while we're at it, I'm going to make a note because I need to do a bunch of things that I figured out is use transactions for multi-DB operations. And the other one, which is what got me here, create an index of items we use. So right now I can still remember that this is like Lucid Wallet 2, which is like the same that we use right here. But as this app grows, I just basically want to say, hey, give me the wallet icon. I don't really care how it's implemented. So great. Okay, let's see. I'm also going to quickly check here if things have appeared on X. It looks like they have. Amazing. GMI coder. Body iCoder is replying to me on X, so just inviting him to the show right here. I really appreciate all of the support. We've been having a lot of great feedback. Actually, Anatoly followed us on X, which is kind of a milestone. I think hopefully at some point when we share something, we get his nice little 3 emoji retweet. That will be the day. That will be another milestone, but let's not get ahead of ourselves right here. So account here, and how I actually want this thing to work, I don't want the word account. For now though, I'm going to run with it. So if we have an active account, in that case, I want to show this thing. Otherwise, what I want to do, and then just pass in the active account, I want to say null. Now, actually, this is not what I think how it's supposed to work. Now, this is already nice. The button here, it's set to small, but I think I want this button to be a bit bigger. And actually, let me try something else. Let me do this icon here. And then instead, I'm just going to call the avatar. And this is active account.name. So now this thing is very much like the icon used by Backpack. If Backpack wakes up, Backpack's a bit sleepy at the moment. Like I see him blatantly copying this, but like, honestly, I don't care. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, as they say. There we go. Nice. This is what I had in mind. So we have our account switcher, which is great. And now where I want to place this thing is all the way on the left-hand side of this top-level navigation. So we're going to drop this thing right here, and that should make the move. Bam, there we go. This is what I had in mind. Awesome. So now clearly the idea right here is if you're in the portfolio and you switch this thing, it should render the different wallet, right? So that's kind of the goal. In addition, I don't expect settings, dev, and portfolio to be here very much longer. Like this should all be gone. We're probably going to have a button bar, very much like any other ecosystem wallet. We'll have a swap eventually. We may have an explore section, though I'm not sure if that gets any priority. The beautiful thing is this wallet will be open source. So if this is something that you'd like to see, by all means, fork it, go ahead and go build it yourself, right? So nice, this was a fairly quick one. So we have the portfolio checker here, and we have the account dropdown here. We have built this as a feature, and I'm gonna create a pull request for this. So let me see, let's gonna create a branch and say account dropdown. And I'm gonna be doing a partial commit. This is where we use the feature. And then inside here, we do the actual code. So I'm gonna say add account drop down to header, which is the git commit message. Now, if only all of these things were so nice, sweet, and straightforward. I'm gonna do a quick type check here locally, just to make sure that it works and it runs well on CI. And then afterwards, I'm just going to push this up. This should give me a link, which I'll visit. And then I'm going to be reviewing this thing afterwards. As you might have heard from previous calls, I'm a big fan of reviewing your own pull requests. You should always review your own pull request. And the amount of times that I find an issue with something I just wrote is crazy. If I would have $1 for all of this, I would be filthy rich. So yeah, okay, cool. So we're just gonna leave this here, run the CI actions. And yesterday I also added this bot called Ellipsis, which has been reviewing the pull requests. It gives a nice summary of the things that actually changed and not the things that I think have changed, which is clearly something, if I type it myself, it's my vision. This AI, this LLM goes over it, and it does a fairly decent job. Now it says LGTM looks good to me. They reviewed all of these things, and then I'm going to zoom this in a little bit so it's easier. They review all of this stuff, and you can see, hey, the new dropdown integrated. And sure, it's an interactive element, has proper inline attributes. And now it finds this suggestion, and it chooses to not post this comment. Now, this is very nice, because if you take the time and actually go into these things, you see its train of thought. And I already picked up a bunch of things here that were actually pretty interesting. And yeah, these things, okay, whatever. If it compiles, ship it at the moment. Set active function returns silently. Also happy to accept that for now. The button renders nothing when the active account is undefined. Okay, cool. So here is actually a point that I wanted to fix during my pull request, but I kind of skipped over. GM Sandeep, good to see you, sir. Good to see you. It's It's like 4 a.m., Sandeep, at your time, at the place where you are at, right? I think you should be heading to bed by now, sir. Okay, so this was actually a great comment from the ellipsis review bot. The button renders nothing when active account is not defined. So let's actually go to this file. So I'm just going to pick up this line here, go back to my editor, and open it up. Now, let's see how this actually behaves, because if we delete our database, which I've been doing all the time, now it's indeed not showing anything, but it does render. In the future, you won't be getting here if you don't have an account set up, because we'll redirect you to the onboarding. For now, though, how I think I want this to behave is that it doesn't show the drop down. It doesn't show the drop down at all. So I'm actually going to say, if not active account, return null. And this makes it so that we just don't show the button at all. Now, this is not great, but at least it doesn't give an empty button. We don't really have to worry about this for now. I think it's the best solution. I am going to make a note of for myself. So Samui Wallet MD handle. So I got the name here in this file. Handle the case where active account is, well, where we don't have an active account. Great. Good. And this is why it's nice to have this ellipsis automated review configured here. It's free to use for open source. And that's why we added to this repo. It's really nice because Toby and I work on wildly different things at the moment. Toby is doing a lot of interaction with the actual wallet extension, and making sure that if you click like sign transaction, sign message, or sign in a Solana app, that it actually goes through the wallet standard and it interacts with the extension there. So if you click sign transaction, you're expected to see, or actually you start with connect. If you connect your wallet, you're expected to see a pop-up that allows you to either connect or disconnect to this site. And then if you click sign message, you expect the message to show and you can sign this thing. Same for sign transaction and signing with Solana. So I think there's like 4 of these operations, and then disconnect is a non-interactive action. So a disconnect can just handle without interacting. Now, Toby figured that all out. I don't know the details of this. So while working on wildly different stuff, it's really nice to have an AI that watches over my shoulder and that points me at stuff that I might want to change, just like how this happened right here. Now I'm going to regenerate a account here, and then it will show up. I'm going to watch this feature. And it would be nice if this thing showed up as soon as you created the account. How about this? I'm going to make the check so that it would check the items length. Now, this is probably not performant. For now, though, I don't really care. So I'm going to go here, create, bam. Doesn't show, needs to refresh. Interesting. Let's do it like this. Show dropdown is use memo. Here we're going to look at active account and items.length. And then we're going to return this if not show dropdown. For now, I just really want to check if this works. So I'm going to be very dirty. See if this is on the right path. Now, as with a lot of these things, yeah, there's a bunch of improvements to be made. No, I'm not on the right path here. Okay. Is items.length actually updating? So let's console log and open the console right here after deleting the database. So delete the database. It says items length 0 has active account is false. So opening this up, item length is 1, active account is still false. So it looks like active account doesn't update. Now, this is actually interesting because active account, the active account, we look in the items, which we add to the memo here. We look at the data, use preference, find unique, but this one is not a live query. Interesting. So we want to look at this query at a live feed. Now, this is very similar to what we do right here. Use DB account live. We actually want to make something for a singular account as well, for actually a preference. So let's quickly hack this together and see if that does what I expect it to do. So use private like this one. And I'm going to say this is a live option. Now, what I'm actually going to do here is just take this key. And what we will return here is either a preference or undefined. And this one starts with undefined. And then inside here, I want to basically do what this one does. So db preference find by key db references.get. Do we just want to run this one? We're just going to take this db preferences get. I'm going to write this one right here. I'm going to remove the toArray option. And then I think the depth is just an empty array. Well, no, depth's not an empty array. The depth is the key. And then we're going to see if this works. So this is now data instead of this. And let's see if this goes the way I want this thing to go. So now we're going to go to this drop down here. So the actual drop down. And here we now say, okay, just get rid of all of this stuff and return to, if you don't have an active account, return null. And I do still want to log active account and items.length. Items length, whatever. And this is like how we do it. So I'm gonna go back to application right here and actually move this one to the bottom so I can check console while I have the applications tab open, delete the database here. refresh this thing, go back to the main screen and refresh. We should have no drop down, go here, create new account, generate, bam, there you go. Okay, so this is what we actually want to exist. Ah, Cloud, please don't do this to me. Good, so the question is, how am I going to do this? Well, I'm not going to add this to the same pull request because that's something I don't like doing. I'm going to be cleaning up that thing. So first of all, clean up this one, clean up this one, clean up this one. So this was actually a pretty good strategy, but we actually want to be able to look to react on updates to our preferences. So in this case, if the preference we're looking at active account ID changes, we want our UI to update. This is just a typical React feature. That's why it lives in the DB preference or in the React DB package, I must say. So now we're using it here. So what I actually want to do, if we look at our git commit history, so I'm going to be adding all of these things. And I want to add this in between the current git commit history. Now there's a bunch of ways to do this. But what I actually like to do, so I based this one on Beeman Active Wallet. I created Beeman account dropdown. But what I actually want is in between a different commit that only has this change to preference unique live. Now, what I'm going to do, copy this hash from the account dropdown. I'm going to go back to my previous branch and then say, okay, this is preference find unique live. And in here, so now I'm based on Active Wallet, and I'm going to say git cherry pick, and I'm going to add commit hash. So now I'm in the exactly same situation. Now, what's the deal here? So what I can do is actually, so I'm exactly the place where I was in the different branch. I just have a branch separate with the same content. Now, here comes the magic. It's not magic, it's just a bunch of operations that I like to do. And what I'm going to do here is actually remove all the changes that I'm not interested in. So this is the settings feature, account dropdown, and the source UI, settings UI, account dropdown. And I'm going to undo my changes in core, feature source core. Now I'm left with only this one file. Great. I also realized I want to rename this thing. So this one is find unique by key, and I want to do find unique by key live. Now this will be kind of a conflict when we just go merge, but it's just really one place where this happens. So now I have a branch that only adds this change. So I'm going to say feature add use DB references find ID by live hook. Now this is what we add here. So great. So now we have a separate branch that only does this thing. Why do I go through all of this hassle? Well, it's just good practice to do typically one thing per pull request. Now, I'm starting this project out, as you know, so there's a bunch of things where I kind of cut corners. There's a bunch of things that should be in small pull requests, but are in a large one. This also is because I'm building out quite a bunch of UI. So I'm not 100% committing to that, do one thing per pull request, but it's fairly simple, as you see. And I think it just makes sense to have like a real separate identifiable thing where we just add this hook. So the AI already kicked in. it says add this hook to fetch live updates of a unique preference by preference key. It adds the hook, it uses use live query, which is a DEXI feature, and it returns the update when the preference changes. DEXI is the database that we're using here, which is a minimalistic wrapper for IndexedDB. Very well proven technology, old, decent, boring tech, works perfect for what we need, even though it's not perfect. It works very well for what we need, even though there's a few things that I wish it had. The goal is to make this work and then make it right and then make it fast. And during the hackathon, we're very much on the make it work camp. So great, so now we have this pull request and now we actually want this one to sit on top of that. So I'm gonna go back to my editor and we're gonna go back to the bman wallet dropdown, account dropdown. And now it says we're kind of diverse, but we actually, what we're going to do is we want to say rebase this on top of preferences find key. And now we see we have the structure where we want, where bman active wallet is 1, then we have the live key, and then we have the account dropdown. Now this also means that this branch didn't have the rename, so I will need to go in and find out where we use this thing, which is in the account dropdown feature. And here we say unique by key live. Perfect. And this should make it so that this one is now no longer used, so we can just delete this fella. And then we should be able to commit this change. And then once we, let me check types just to make sure that this is all in order. And also let me do some linting, lint fix. I think this is all good, but you might as well just check it. It saves a round trip to the to GitHub and then back to my editor to fix things. So this works well, tests clearly run. And good. Let's go back to GitHub. And now we can change this PR and actually say, hey, you're sitting on top of preferences, find unique live. Yes, I want to change the base. And now we have one commit difference between this. And here in the header, it already updated this header. Or didn't it? Anyway, we're going to let the AI do its work. What I'm going to do here is go back to the main page portfolio, just right here, delete database and refresh. Now we should have no. We go to settings, accounts, create new account, generate, and we should have a dropdown. Amazing. And if we create a second one or we import one, let's import our good old friend Bill Tomorrow. And when we go there, we now should have the second that we can switch between. Exactly how I want this to work. Great. Next thing here is, say, wallet dropdown. Now this should be even easier because we now have some more building blocks. So let's do it from the other way around. We're actually going to create this dropdown feature first. So we're going to call this wallet dropdown feature. And then here we're going to change account for wallet and lowercase as well, wallet. And then it starts crying that this doesn't exist, that doesn't exist. Oh my Lord. Let's quickly do these things. Where wallet is a wallet. Now I'm building out all of these things as we need it. This wants to be wallets. And what we do in the wallets find many, in the DB wallets find many, we actually, DB wallets find many, we filter by this thing. And we order by derivation path. So I'm going to copy over this snippet. And in the wallet live, I'm going to copy this in here, order by, and we're just going to order by account ID. So I'm going to have a property here, input, and I'm just going to say account ID, because for now, this is what we need, which is a string. This will be input, input. And we can directly return this fella right here, which makes it short and sweet. Use wallet DB live. Now this use wallet DB live has a parameter. Now you might see me think, because I actually think this should work differently. I don't think we should pull this in as a prop. Why not? Because I want this account ID to be set to something different. And for those of you that are paying attention, might actually understand where I want to get this thing from. And the answer is, well, I just created the thing. And it's the preference find unique by key. So what I'm going to say is use preference and get us the active account ID, because that's where I'm actually interested in. Now I need to make sure that this thing exists. So it needs to be account ID.value, and for that we need to have account ID.value. So what does this do? Now, why is TypeScript not happy? String boolean undefined. Well, how is this? There you go. Now TypeScript is happy. And then how that should work is that this list of live wallets will be depending on whatever we have here, which I think is exactly what I want. Now, as you see, nice one. I hope nice one is, this is kind of the issue with doing these async chats and not being able to figure out. It's really hard for me to understand what I said that triggered you to do the nice one. But that said, I'm happy that my buddy Sandeep's here. And I'm super happy that in general, people are checking what I'm doing. As I shared earlier in this show, the amount of feedback that we have been getting has been simply amazing. It's humbling to see that so many people are interested in what we're doing. A lot of people want us to succeed. I love it. This is just awesome. So we're not going to have the wallet UI item. I'm just going to say wallet.name here, item.name. And then we shouldn't need the item. This will be ordered, sorted by our ESLint plugin. And this makes it so that we are ready to add this thing where we want to see this. So we're going to go to the wallet feature. We're actually going to go to the account feature. Look at that. We got Toby right here. I already mentioned you earlier in the day in the show. Toby is the co-founder of Samui Wallet, and it's amazing. It's we're building something awesome, and we both fully believe in it. We're super inspired and motivated, and awesome to have you on the show, sir. It's really cool. And Samui is sorry, Sandeep says my entire X feed is now Samui related. That by itself is an amazing indication, sir. Thank you so much, brother. When Sandeep and I did TokenGator, I think must be 1.5 years ago, we were memeing the hell out of it. In fact, I was memeing the hell out of it. And the nice thing about Token Gator, I'm going to quickly share it. It's kind of an unrelated thing, but the nice thing about Token Gator is that it had this cute little icon. So Token Gator, and actually if you look at Token Gator and Samui build, the similarities should be fairly similar in terms of how I brand this stuff. So instead of thinking a ton of time about how to brand these things, what I typically do, I get a free and open source emoji from Twimoji, which is the Twitter emojis or X emojis. I pick one, and that's going to be the logo. And I have this one font that I like and use for PubKey, for Token Gator, and now for Samui. And I just make it as simple as possible. And this way, it takes me about, well, maybe 10 to 15 minutes to brand a new project once I found the name, once I decided on the name. Now, these things are MIT and Creative Commons licensed, and this means we can use them as a logo for commercial operations. Now, the cool thing about Token Gator was you have this cute little alligator, right? Or crocodile. It's same. So a lot of things here were just me replying to things with an alligator. This was the activity, and this was just fairly easy to get engagement. So yeah, there's a bunch of these things. If Samui is successful and we need something that's related to Token Gator, if we want to do this, we should rebrand PubKey Link, Discord verification service, the role verification service. It should actually be called Token Gator. But I've never actually marketed PubKey Link, but I think it should be called Token Gator, and it should have this cute little alligator as a logo, and then we can meme the hell out of it. I also recall that Sandeep at some point says, dude, did you hire somebody for socials? And I was like, no, I'm just like doing it while I'm working, which led me to yesterday's tweet. It's 50% code, it's 50% socials, it's 50% talking to founders, and the last 50%, I don't know, you know what I put. It's shitposting on X. But that's how you win a hackathon. At least that's what works for me. Anyway, let's go back here and let's see if we do settings, feature, wallet dropdown, what this looks like. Now, I'm a bit confused that I don't see it just yet. I probably just got distracted by chatting with all of you guys, which is great. So settings UI wallet dropdown, it uses DB Wallet Live. I reckon it's somewhere here where this thing is just not being set. So let me actually console log this. And item length is 0, sure. Okay, that was kind of expected. Now use DB Wallet Live, and then inside here, I reckon account ID. Sure, account ID wants to be in the here. The final argument passed to use effects change size between re-render. The order and size of this array must be consistent. Yes, sure. Okay, so I'm going to refresh this thing right now. Now items length did change here, so that's kind of good. And it did change here. Now we're talking. There you go. Look at that. Would you look at that? Okay, cool. So we got something. And as you might know, something is better than nothing. We're just going to use active wallet name because I don't think we want to have an icon for the wallet. What we actually want to have there is a, this is going to be a small one. What we actually want to have there is a copy button, but we'll get there. So now we have this one, wallet settings. Now the wallet settings URI doesn't exist. What we actually want to do if we go to wallet settings, we want to go to an account detail page because this is where we have the wallet. And for those of you that don't know, you can derive multiple wallets, and we can change it, and it actually updates it right here. So a lot of these things work, at least some way, shape, or form. It's really taking shape. It's really starting to look like a wallet. And the beautiful thing is, once this is landed into main, I can go add a Solana client, which we probably use Gil for, and I'm going to be doing Solana client-react to build a bunch of custom hooks, because I'm not impressed by the hooks that Gil ships, but that's a different story. And then we can add listing your tokens, listing your sol balance, and then we can look at creating transactions, which we then can sign. And because this web version has the secret key here, we should be able to get to a place where you start up this thing, create a new account, or import a mnemonic phrase that will derive a key pair. You should then airdrop some sol, and then you should be able to sign a transaction and send it out. Like, I feel like we're really, really, really close, and that's just awesome. So this wallet, active wallet, we want to go here and say this is /accounts, and we're going to wrap this in a template string actually, and say this is active wallet dot account ID. There we are. Now this is not really truly account settings, right? But maybe we don't need an account settings. Maybe this is where we want to have like, hey, add a new account. But for now, for the sake of consistency, I'm just going to leave it there anyway, because this is the closest thing we have. And then we at least have a consistent way to handle these things. Also, I realized that accounts probably shouldn't have an option. Maybe accounts shouldn't even be a top-level menu option. All things to be figured out while we go. Now, let's see why this does not work, because I'm kind of confused why these wallets don't show up. So this one wants to be active. Yes, okay, I already understand why this is. So we discussed this yesterday, the concept of an active wallet. The active wallet here, which is the wallet that's currently activated, is inside this account. So the account, just to freshen this all up, the account is a mnemonic phrase, and we derive an X account of wallets from these accounts. Great. This is exactly how Backpack does this. Now, if I'm changing an account, so if I set an account to a different account, I actually want my wallet, active wallet, to be one of these wallets inside this account and not outside of the account. And this is why this doesn't work. Now also, while I was working today on all of this stuff, I did a bunch of refactorings in the database, things I learned while I was building out this accounts wallets structure. And I realized that we should be using DEXI's transactions. If we want to do one or more database operations in general, in any database, most likely, probably most databases, it's never all of them. Always there's a depends. In most databases, you do want to use a transaction if you have multiple database actions, so that these things stay atomic. It either all happens or it doesn't all happen. So for now, I think I'm just going to leave this bug. Or am I? Let's see. How does it work like this? If I now pick accounts, yeah, okay, now it says like can't find a name, brother. Yes, I feel you. I just want to make something that, and I can't find account ID. Yes, yes. Let's for now just do this. Then it kind of works, right? So it's like we hide this thing. Okay, so what if after switching an account, setting an account active, After I set an account active, I'm gonna take all the wallets from that account and pick the first one. This is probably the next best thing that I can do. Now, I'm not suggesting to do it in this pull request. I think I will leave this pull request with this issue. But this is what we actually need to do. And this comes down to now, where do we handle this? Well, we handle this in two different places. That already is smelly. We should have one place. So this one place, for instance, would be, and this is not wallets, we're talking about accounts. So let's first things first. Let's commit this thing, do a quick review, glance over this to see if there's nothing here that I really don't want to ship. It is very much the same. We're on the wallet drop-down branch, so let's get the same commit message, add wallet drop-down to header. And we're going to push this up, create pull request, let the AI run over it, and then we'll deal with cleaning this up tomorrow. I figured I'd try to do these streams with stuff that's actually interesting to look at, and like me going back and forth with cleaning up pull requests and kind of tweaking details doesn't seem like super interesting for people to look at. So if you think that is, like, I'm happy to do that stuff on camera. I'm happy to do it on screen, but this might be something that we actually want to do in the Discord and then have people have a voice there. Because it's also kind of a monologue, and doing a dialogue over a live stream like this is kind of clumsy. There's a delay, there's messages that get typed, and having an actual conversation would make this probably more interesting. So I'm going to base this one on account dropdown doesn't want me. So let's see. What is my parent here? My parent is account dropdown. Actually, you know what? I haven't pushed up account dropdown. So let me go back to previous branch, push this one up, and then go back here, git rebase, account dropdown. This should be already good, and this should also already be good, but just in case. And now if I refresh here, it should give me the commit message. I just created all of these as a normal pull request. That's fine. And now within a few seconds, the AI will kick in and actually add a message here, which is super convenient. So there we are. This all looks good. Again, I'm not going to merge this right now. It's 3 a.m. I'm 53 minutes in. I'm probably going to mess something up if I want to do this. But what I want to do is actually get a real sketchy, scratchy bman update active wallet, because this is what we want to do. Now, in the future dropdown, this is where we do this update reference by key. We actually use this in a bunch of account systems already. Now, this is clearly already kind of smelly. We do it right here. Here's where we say active account ID, active account ID. So there's two places where we want to update this active account ID. If we want to add additional logic to it, and we're not going to add it to the database just yet, because I'm not ready to do these transaction things just yet. So I am going to do it imperatively for now. Then I don't want these things to live in two places. So first order of business for me is actually get one hook that does this thing. I already thought about this a little bit, but it gets clearer now. So what I want to do, I want this thing to be called use settings, use preferences, preference, singular, preference, account ID. I think that's short and sweet. And then basically expose these things. Okay, cool. Now, this wants to be used like so. And then how do I want to use this? Sure, if data ID, no, so now if not, why did I have this? This probably shouldn't even have existed there in the first place. So active account is this active account ID, and this is the active account. Actually, I want this active account to live here as well. So I want to just pass in the active account, which is then potentially a undefined thing. Now, this is probably not the final, it's probably not its final form. But what I really want to do is to see if I can make this work in such a way that it makes logically sense for me. So now I can just take active accounts from here. So I don't need that one anymore. And then I can here say, await, set active account ID and set it to item.id. And I think that this should still work. And now I can actually remove the body here, and I can even just remove async and await, because TypeScript will all infer this for me. And this is how I like to see my, my functions. Now it doesn't like this because I return a number, which is not a void. Set active, this thing returns a number. You know what? You can have a number here. I'm happy with that. And that stops the thing from complaining. Yes, sir. The account switching task is done. And that is indeed good process. And the other one as well. And I am going to make this work for now, just because I think we want to do this in the right way. So actually, I don't want to give this one a number. Instead, I'm just going to await this one here. Now, we switched accounts and we're assuming there's a whole ton of happy path blindness in here. So we're assuming that everything is amazing and nothing fails. At some point, if we move on with this and Toby and I get to work on this full time, I'm fairly sure soon enough we'll have a whole bunch of effects in here. And this will hopefully make this app extremely robust with very little assumptions that everything is perfect, because we don't live in a perfect world, even though we wish we would. Now, what do I want to do here? What I want to do here is the, I think I also want the UseDB account live. Actually, let's call this thing accounts. Let's call this thing wallets. I'm going to call this thing accounts. And we're going to pick up the list of wallets. Now I need to go back in wallet live, because this is where I actually use this active account ID. So now I get these wallets from all of this thing. And with that, I should be able to say, and this mutate async is going to be set active account ID. And then we're going to have another mutate async, which is set active wallet ID. And then basically what we want to say, if we have wallets, do this. I'm just going to wing it for now. as I said, this is just me scratching, and I hope if I update this, it doesn't work as expected. Why would it? Somebody sees what I'm missing here, by all means. Might be a simple race condition, right? So let me actually log wallets length, wallets.length. And account ID, just for good measures, just we have some logging. And I'm going to switch account, and that says account this one, wallets 7. Back to the other one, account this one, wallets 5. So there's definitely stuff that's happening here. It just doesn't refresh. So we update this thing, and it doesn't refresh. Set active wallet ID. This one, active wallet ID, gets set. So then wallet ID is active there. And then this list of thing doesn't show. But it doesn't show at all anymore. So if I actually go in here, I see that none of these things is set active. I should go back here. It may be a race condition. So this is now looking at the old list of wallets, whereas it should look at the new list of wallets. I'm going to do something super dirty. I'm going to say set timeout. And we're just going to wait a few milliseconds. Promise.resolve, I guess. How is this supposed to work? Await. Promise.resolve. Await new promise. This is syntax I'm looking for. It may very well be a race condition. So let's set up the thing how I expect this to work. So I'm going to select this one. Now it's selected. So what I expect if I click here, it then goes. It's not a race condition. Anyway, it's not something that I'm going to be figuring out right now. I need, so when this happens, after this account is set, so we set the active account. Right here, we have the account ID of the thing that we want to set, but this list of wallets is still not adjusted to this. We can quickly add some debugging right here and just say, hey, account ID. Actually do it right here. Actually do it right here. Add braces, log, filter. And this is the account ID. And then I'm just going to clear this log right here, update this. It says filter account ID. Account ID wallets 7. So that's this one, 0 to 7. Now I switch it back. Now it's wallets. Yeah, so if I don't do this, now it should work one time and it should not work the other, just like we had it. Yes, so we didn't really win something. Okay, I'm not going to figure this out right now, but this is kind of the direction where I want to go. So I'm going to call this WIP, and I'm going to push up the branch. So my friend Sandeep here says something very clever. I'm sure when you wake up this morning, this bug will be waving its hands at you, waiting to be squished in like 5 minutes. Happens to me every single time. You're so incredibly right. Happens to me all the time. So this is why I'm also just going to leave this here. the base is here. Like we have a method to this madness, and having a special operation that does multiple things. In fact, I think what I should actually do is figure this out on the database level. And why is that? Well, then I can have some nice tests, and I can just iterate over my tests, make this work. So I think what might be the answer here, I don't feel initial, this is gut feeling, right? I don't feel we need a special DB function here, because I feel that this special DB function, it feels like a bit too specific. Though there may be something there. Maybe what I want to do is have a DB account set active and do it in there. And then DB wallet set active. DB wallet set active wants to check something as well. It wants to check that the wallet that you're activating actually belongs to an active account, because I can trigger a same issue if I go back here. In here, now it also will remove. So let's take notes. We learned a bunch of stuff, and that's the important part in life. Handle the case where not wallet accounts. So yeah, we have a bunch of more things. So I say for now, and this might also be that I'm going to be coming back to, but add a DB account set active function. And what this thing needs to do is it needs to set the active account ID reference to the new value, get the list of wallets for this account, actually for active account ID, set the active wallet ID reference to the first one of the list of wallets. So I think this is it. And then similarly, we want to have a DB wallet set active, where we want to say get the active account ID, well, get the new wallet, or get the requested wallet from the database. Ensure that the requested wallet's account ID is active. So we want to say get the active account ID preference. Ensure that the requested wallet.account ID is equal to active account ID. I'm going to make this a bit more clear. If so, set the active wallet ID preferences to the requested value. Amazing. Okay, cool. So I think with this, I'm actually going to remove this work in progress, because it's kind of unrelated. And yes, I should create a hook, create a clean abstraction around getting and setting a preference in the UI. But it's probably cleaner if I don't go on all of this linking tangent, and if I just fix the root issue where I should fix it. So for now, though, we did make some progress, and we did add these things. We now have a wallet dropdown, and this is enough for me to add the Solana client get your Sol balance, get the recent transactions. We're going to call activity. So we already can sketch a bunch of things out. So implement base portfolio, get Sol balance, get wallet activity, get wallet tokens, get wallet NFTs. Now here's a whole rabbit hole, right? So we want to have wallet prices, we want to have like token prices, so token metadata. All of that stuff needs to be there. All of that stuff will be there, but also it won't be today. So with that in mind, I'm going to delete this branch. And yeah, happy with how this is taking shape. I'm also going to add like a little cute avatar to this cluster so that these things all have a different color. Should be kind of nice. And then after that, actually going to get rid of this top bar and do some bottom bars. Pop in a little settings icon, even though we don't need the settings, because you can like actually access your settings from the UI without needing this bespoke button. So we can probably already get rid of this settings, but again, not today. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. It's 3:20. I was supposed to go to bed early today, but I won't. So I'm going to be taking a walk back home, clear up my mind, take a good rest sleep, wake up tomorrow, get a nice breakfast, walk back to the office, and keep being locked in. We're about 10 days away from the delivery date. I'm very confident that we will ship a wallet, the web wallet. I'm very confident that we will ship a browser extension. It's not going to be as fine-tuned as Backpack, Soulflare, and Phantom or Jupyter, but yes, I'm super, super stoked where we're going. And well, final words from Sandeep. To me as an audience, this is amazing. Coding Dev series like a Netflix show. You can call this S1 episode 4. I actually thought about numbering these episodes, but the thing is, in my opinion, if you don't automate something, it doesn't happen. So I knew that at some point I would forget to update the number, which would annoy me because on YouTube I can go change it, but on X it's printed forever and I cannot change it. So for the next 10 days, I aim to stream every day, and it will just be called Hacking on Samui Wallet for Solana Cypherpunk Hackathon. And with this, I'm going to call it a night. Thanks everybody for watching, and I hope to see you tomorrow.